Hi everyone, and welcome back to Lisa's Coloring Corner. Today what I wanted to do, I had mentioned it in some of my past videos, that I would show you what my swatch book slash binder looks like. You'll see as I go through this that I am quite OCD about my swatches for each of my type of pencil, marker, some miscellaneous things, and I have them all divided out by which type of medium it is. So I thought we would go through it. As I go through here, you'll notice that I have each of my charts typed up. I have everyone typed up in MS Word. So I thought if anybody was interested in any of these charts, I could email you a blank version. Now you'd have to have MS Word because I don't have a converter from MS Word to PDF program. But if you would like it in MS Word, feel free to email me. My email is down in the description, and I would be more than happy to email you the particular color chart that you would like for you to color in yourself. Keep in mind, I put mine in a specific order from light to dark, and it may not be the same order that you would put your pencils or markers in. And even after I do the color chart, when I look back through it and I swatch them out, I'm like, oh gosh, that color's darker than that. That should be up there. And I mean, it is what it is. So they are not by any means perfect. But again, if you want a copy of it, let me know. So let's go ahead and get into it. I do want to put a name on here, a label, and then on the spine. But isn't that pretty? It's sparkly. Okay, so I have main tabs, and kind of bugs me because they stick outside the binder when I'm done, when I close it. But I have them split up into color combinations, and I want to add to that. And then I have all my pencils. Then I have all my markers. And then down here, I do have a few miscellaneous, and we'll get into all of them. So here is my color combinations, and I might zoom you in just a tad so you can see them a little bit better. These are complements of, I believe, oh gosh, I believe it's with from Color with Claire. She just has some awesome color combinations. These are Prismacolor combinations, couple pages. Then she has some Polychromos color combinations. And then she also has some Holbein color combinations. So really, really neat. Gives you a head start anyhow. And then, yeah, I want to start making up some of my own and adding them back in here. And then I may add additional tabs in here stating what pencil the combinations are from. But for now, I'm just leaving it as is. So the first part of the book is all my pencils. So I have the tab for the pencils. Now, as I go through all these supplies, don't judge me. Let's back you out yet. I might be a little bit close. And it doesn't want to zoom back out. Maybe I'm, oh, there we go. Okay, if anybody wants to see any of this in more detail or whatnot, you have any questions on them, feel free to ask down in the comments below. So I have a tab on each of my color chart. So I can just kind of flip through and find which one is which. This would be the Prismacolor. And again, I go from light. I always go through yellows, then oranges, then reds, pinks, in this case, fleshy tones, purples, and then into the blues, greens, browns, and then grays and blacks. Now, because this one's so long, the blues continued on the back side, and then the grays continued here, and that's kind of how I set it up. So then, and this is really neat, I love these hex charts. If nobody has heard of these are created by Sandy Allnock, A-L-L-N-O-C-K, and you can find her on the internet. And she created some hex charts. And initially it was just her Copic hex chart, and I have that too. But then she came out with a Prismacolor hex chart, one for Polychromos, and one for Carandash Luminance. So essentially what the hex chart is rather than putting them just out in number order, what she did was she went through and grouped them by colors. So you'll see all the deep reds into the lighter reds, into the oranges, down here into your deeper colors and whatnot. So it's all grouped by color, which really can help you when you're trying to figure out some color combinations you want to try. You know, maybe you want to take this dark red into a little bit lighter red and then maybe into a red orange. So it really splits them out really, really nice. I love these. And they're not real expensive. I believe each one is like $5.99. And I know some people don't like to pay, you know, for charts and whatnot, but I did for these because I just think they're extremely helpful. So there's that, if you're interested. Okay, then my next one are my Holbeins. And yes, I have the Holbeins. I saved up for a long time for these. And again, I go through the same order, except in this case, I left all them pretty pastels down at the bottom. I kept them all by themselves. And again, because it's such a big set, it went onto the back of the page too. I kept the neons for the very end. But so that's the Holbeins. You'll see for every color chart, I do put the number out in this column and then the color name. And I do 3 columns because I like to see what it is with one layer when it's real light, medium layer, and then a heavy layer. And on the pastels, you probably can't see that real good. But here, you can probably see it a little bit better when I do real light to medium to dark pressure. Kind of gives you an idea of what it will look like when you use different pressures. And this is, you know, just colored on some cardstock, and you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt because you got to remember each coloring book's going to have a different tooth to it. So a lot of the coloring books, they may color a little bit differently than this, but this still gives you a general idea. So let's back you back out. Okay, so then I have my Faber-Castell Polychromos. Again, same order. Now there's only 120 of these, not 150, so I fit them all on one sheet. And that's why I kind of have the squares small. A lot of color charts, you'll see them in bigger squares, but then it runs over onto multiple pages. And this just gives me an idea. You know, I want this green maybe to blend into this green to this green. So I felt I didn't need any bigger squares. So that's kind of how I went about it. And then here is the, keep hitting these papers over here. This is the hex chart for the Polychromos. And of course you get them all blank. And then you take your pencils and you color it in. So that's what the Polychromos one looks like. Again, very similar to the Prismacolor one with a few less colors because it's only 120 set rather than the 150 set. Again, by Sandy Allnock. Okay, then we go on to, I do have the Faber-Castell Albrecht Dürer, is that how you pronounce it? Pencils. These are the watercolor pencils that accompany or go along with, I should say, the Polychromos pencils. It's the same colors with the same numbers and color names. And here I just did it where I colored it in and then I used the water so I could kind of see what it's going to be like with water also. So this is all 120 of the Albrecht Dürer. Then we have, I also have the Faber-Castell Pitt Pastel Pencils. And rather than doing the light, medium, and hard pressure, I just did one. It was just a straight across pressure. And then because they're pastels, I used a fixative over the top so they would not smear. Okay, so there's that. I do have the Derwent. Now we're going to get into the Derwent products. I have the Derwent Color Soft. And I'm sorry if it gets kind of glary. It is sunny out, which is very deceiving because we had almost 50 below wind chill this morning. But yeah, the sun is shining, and so the sun was kind of streaming across my desk here, and I had to close the blinds again. So I do have a light underneath here, so it might get a little glary. I have these all in sheet protectors, so the plastic might shine a little bit. I hope it's not too bad though. So yeah, here is the Derwent Color Soft pencils. Again, same order as before. And the Derwent Ink Tints. And here again, I just did one column for the pencils themselves, and then one color swatched out with using the water, so I can see, you know, what it looks like with the water. Then I do have the Derwent Metallic Set, and there's only, what, maybe a dozen in there. But I just kind of wanted to keep this with the other Derwents, so I have that. Then I do have the Bronzil. I'm not sure if too many people have heard of these. I think I bought these when I started initially coloring quite a while ago, and I believe it was Peter Hewitt that I seen using these Bronzil. I might be mistaken. I can't remember for sure. Anyhow, this is a really nice set. It comes in a nice heavy-duty cardboard box, and I'll have to show you maybe when I go through all my coloring supplies. But yeah, it's in a nice cardboard box, and it has 4 little pull-out drawers. And in each one of those drawers, each pencil sits in its own little foam, you know, what do you say? It sits in its own little foam cushioning, I guess you'd say. So that is the one of the very few colored pencils that I have not put in pencil cases, because I have to have all of mine in cases and marked with what is in that case. So this one is still in its original packaging. Then I do have the Speer Farben pencils. I got these not too long ago when they became available again, because I figure I better quick get them before they go out of stock again. So same order again. I did the light, the medium, and the dark pressure. And they're actually quite nice pencils for their price. They laid down color really nice, so I like them. I do have the Color It pencils, and if you've seen my initial video with the Color It supplies, you'll see that I mentioned the Color It pencils. I absolutely love the Color It supplies. These, however, I think are one of my least favorite out of all of theirs. I didn't think they laid down color real nice. I mean, they're not bad, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I would say they're one of my lesser liked products out of all the Color It products. This is not the entire set. This is the I believe 48 set, and I think they have a 72 set. But this came in a bundle that I bought at the end of last year when they had their 12 days of Christmas specials. So I got it then, and it just came with the 48 set, and I'm not going to bother. I totally have full set itis. I always have to have the biggest set of everything, but because I'm not absolutely impressed with these pencils, I'm not. This is one of the very, very few times I'm not going to get the complete set. Okay, then I have the Artesia colored pencils, and again, for a budget-friendly pencil, these are really nice. Now, I printed this on a different type of paper, and I'm not sure what paper it was. I might actually redo this color chart. You see, it did not print real well, and the pencils did not go down real well on here with the lighter 2 layers. The dark layer didn't turn out too bad, but I don't like this. And like I said, I'm OCD about things, so I might redo this one. Then I did get the Amazon Basics pencils, and again, for a very budget-friendly pencil, These actually are not too bad. And all these pencils, I have not been coloring with my pencils for a while now. I've been so addicted to my glitter gel pens. And that is one of my New Year's resolutions, is to get out all my other coloring supplies and try them out. So I have already, as of the end of last year, gotten into my markers big time, and I've actually been using my markers more than I've been using my gel pens now. But I definitely want to get out a lot of my colored pencils, and we'll do some color alongs on video. And because I have not colored with my colored pencils in so long, they may be some epic fails, they may be some successes. I don't know. I guess we'll find out together. Here I do have the Crayolas too. This is the 100 count, and then on the back side I also have the 50 count. I had gotten these initially because of a coloring class that I had signed up for that I have not taken yet, but and I believe also those Derwent Metallics were bought in for this class. Excuse me. And these Kohinoor, where am I? Kohinoor Woodless pencils also were part of the class that I was going to be taking. So that's why I'm keeping these around. And these Kohinoor, is that how that's pronounced? Some of these words, you know, some of the names. These Progresso Woodless pencils are awesome. There's not, you know, a lot of them. They have a set of 12, and this is the set of 24. But they really color nice, and like the name implies, there's no wood casing around them. There's a coating on them, but the pencil itself is just all pure pigment. So there's no wasting of, you know, wood when you're sharpening it and stuff. And yeah, they lay down really, really nice. Then I do have a few, and again, I believe this is because of the coloring class, these Statler Korat Aquarel pencils. Again, I just colored them straight down here and then applied water in this here column to see what they would look like. And they color really nice. And I'm sure some of these watercolored pencils and stuff, you can use them all together. You know, these with the ink tints, with the Elbrick Duer. I've heard of some people using the ink tints and the Elbrick Duer together because the ink tints are so bright and vivid, and sometimes you want maybe a more muted blue in the sky or whatnot. So then they'll go to the Elbrick Duer and use the more muted tones. So, okay, so that is the end of the pencils. Yes, that's all. Don't you feel sorry for him? Okay, then we get into the markers. Again, nobody judge me, please. I have saved up for a long, long time, and it took me many years to collect these, but this is the entire Copic set. Took me a long time to set up this particular color chart, because so many of the color charts, when you color them in, for the Copics anyhow, the name and the number is in the square that you color over. So once you get to the darker colors, you can't read what color it is unless you write on top with a white marker or pen or whatnot. And I have been looking and looking for one that has a really tiny tip and was very opaque, so that I could write on top. And I don't know, I have not found one that did it well enough. So I wanted to create this, and I went again in my normal order. I did the yellows, the YRs, which are the yellow reds, kind of oranges, R's for reds, RV for red violets, V for violets, BV for blue violets, blues, blue greens, yellow, and on and on and on till we get to the grays. So here would be page 1, and yes, these go on for many pages because there are 358 Copic colors. So then here is page 2. Here is page 3, and you'll notice some of them, you know, have fewer colors than others. But like the earth tones, there's just a ton of earth tone colors. That's what has the most is earth tones. But then we go through, there's more blues, reds, red violets. And then here is the end of those, but there's still more earth tones. So then we go on, and this page just has earth tones. And then one final page has the rest of the earth tones. So it is a very, very long color chart. I have been using it, but since I recolored in, because I messed it up initially, the Hex Chart, and I got to put this in the other way. I see you got it in backwards. This is the Hex Chart, again, from Sandy Allnock. This one is what I've been using all the time now for coloring, rather than all my hard work on the one I created. And again, with these Hex Charts, you know, you can see immediately what color goes with what, because she's got them grouped in families, color families. Again, however, I don't like the fact that when they're real dark, it's almost impossible to see what color it is, what number is under there. So being OCD like I am, I have ordered you know, I have the Brother label maker that I make all of these. They're clear labels with black ink, and then I stick them onto these tabs. Well, they also have some clear labels with white ink. So I thought, aha, because I don't like my handwriting, especially when it gets into teeny little places like this with my handshake. So what I'm going to do, I had already gotten this label, and when I tried doing it, the label was defective, and when it came out, only the bottom half of the letters and numbers were printing. So I contacted them, and they're sending me a new one. So I do not have, I'm still going to do this, but I'm going to put white lettering on each of these dark ones so I can actually see what it is under the dark ones. Of course, the light ones I'm just going to leave as is. But then on the flip side are all the grays, because there are so many colors, you know, you couldn't fit them all on one page. So here are all the grays, your cools, your neutrals, warms, and the toner grays. And then there's two different types of blacks, and I have yet to be able to see a difference. There's a black and a special black. Don't know what the difference is between them, but again, because I had full setitis, I had to get it. So those are the Copics. And we will be doing some coloring with the Copics in upcoming videos. Yes, I do use my Copics in my books, even if they're Create Space paper. I love the way the brush tips work. And the other end initially, yes, was a chisel end, and I hate chisels. I cannot color decently with them. So I did buy, I think it was a couple years ago that Copic came out with their small bullet tips. Just the real tiny, not super fine liners, you know, not like that, but fine points like what you see on your other markers where you have a fine tip in your bullet tip. I mean, the bullet tip and the chisel. So I bought a bunch of the bullet tips, and I replaced all my chisel tips with the bullet tips. So now it's my perfect set of markers. But I love using a variety of markers. Anne kind of got me into the Cali Art markers, and I've been working with those quite a bit. Love the vibrant colors in these. And again, if anybody wants these color charts, let me know. I have the color number, the name, and then where you would color it in. So this goes on to the back side. And again, has all the colors. I do have the chameleons. And again, I put the number, the name, and then I wanted to see how it blended out. So I did each one of these for 15 seconds. And that kind of gave me an idea of how long it took for the color to come out. You'll see the dark ones and whatnot come out a lot faster than, say, some of the light colors. So that kind of gives me an idea, especially when I work with the color tops and the chameleons themselves, how long I have to put the color top on before it's going to switch into the other color. So we may be doing a coloring with the chameleons on screen, on video. I did order the latest Jade Summer book, which is their flowers book, and they are quite big flowers with open areas, and I thought, oh, that would be perfect to try out. I have not used these in a while, so be great to try out some color combos with the color tops, because you can, you know, do 2, 3, 4, 5, however many colors you want to blend into. And that is one way of blending with your alcohol markers on that Create Space paper. Because, you know, it's not impossible, but it's pretty difficult to blend with alcohol markers on Create Space paper when it's not marker paper. But if you do, you can also do your tip to tip with your other alcohol markers, your more budget-friendly markers, and it will do the same thing. To me, this is just a little bit easier to do, and I know I've seen Anne working with her chameleons quite a bit lately, and she's, you know, been doing wonderfully. So I want to get mine back out and try them again with some of the color tops. Then this is my big set of Sioux color that, if you've seen my past video, I showed how I told you how I got these all revived. These all arrived dead on arrival. It's 168 set, so it's a huge color chart. It's a number of pages long, but I sat down and I added alcohol, the higher content alcohol, to each and every one of these, and I got them all working. So this is my 168 set of the Sioux color. Again, it goes multiple pages because there are so many. Then I do have the Korat markers that came in that kit, that set that I bought the end of last year. And these are all the colors in the Korat markers. These are great markers too. And these all work together really nice. I haven't done that yet, but now this one. This one took a long time. These are the Sharpie markers. And as anybody that has worked with Sharpies knows, there are no color names on Sharpies. Which I think if Sharpie would come out with a big set that has color names on them, I think anybody and everybody would go out and buy them. Anybody that uses the Sharpies anyhow. So I did a ton of research, and I came up with, I found from different color charts, different things that were out there. I mean, Google is my friend. And I found all of the names to each of the marker. And I had to do a lot of playing around with these colors, and I switched things probably back and forth a dozen times before I came up with what I think, and I may be wrong, but what I think is the correct name for each color. And then I just went through and I numbered them, you know, numerically. I just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, if anybody's interested in this, you may, in addition to the color chart, want, I don't know, maybe a snapshot of how I colored them to kind of give you an idea of which marker I used for what name. I don't know how else to do that for you. But then the OCD in me kicked in, and I did use my labeler, and I put, so I knew in the future when I colored with my Sharpies, I put this name on the barrel of each one of my Sharpies. So when I pull it out, I know which one is Optic Orange because the name is on it. I do have the neons, and I also have the metallics. I have indicated here, and you'll see down here in the very corner, you probably can't see it from up there, but I do have an FT behind some and a UFT behind others, meaning, for instance, this metallic silver, gold, and bronze is in fine tip only, and then the UFTs are the ultra fine tip only. So I kind of know where to look for each of these if I want to color with them. So yeah, that was my big accomplishment. And then, of course, we have to follow up the Sharpies with the Bics. And thankfully, the Bics all come with color number, or color names, I should say. And again, I just listed them numerically down here just to have a number down there. But yes, these all have color names on them. Then I did get the Amazon Basic markers, and I kind of put these in the same case sort of as with my Sharpies, because they are very similar to the Sharpies. There's a fine tip and an ultra fine tip, just like the Sharpies. And they have some really pretty colors in here, and they work great. They're much cheaper, but they work really, really great. And again, And you are such an enabler if you see this video. But yeah, they're great markers for the price. Then if you've seen a past video of mine, I did a demo and a swatch out of all of these are brand new markers that Spectrum Noir came out with. They are called Tritone Markers. And each marker, you'll have to, if I remember, I'll link that video below if you have not seen it yet. Each marker, it's kind of long, but they're actually 3 markers in one. So you typically want a light, medium, and dark to do a nice blend with an alcohol marker. So they put a light, a medium, and dark all in one marker, so that you could do a nice blend. So it goes again through in the order that I normally do: the light yellows, the orange, reds, pinks, purples, blues, greens, browns, and gray. There is, of course, no black. It's kind of hard to blend a black, and so but you can see they got just gorgeous colors in here. They are adding to this line. There's 48 markers right now, which times 3 is 100 and whatever. But 4 times throughout this year, I think it's March, is it June, September, and November, something like that. I'm signed up for auto ship, so 4 times a year now, every 3 months, they will be sending me 6 additional markers. So again, I'll have to keep redoing my color chart. But I'll add to this chart and add in the additional 6 markers. So it's an additional 18 colors each time they send you some. So I really like these. They color really nice. For anybody that does, however, have the entire line of the Spectrum Noir markers, these are the same colors, the same numbers, the same names. So it wouldn't be anything different for you. That was pointed out to me in some of the comments after I did this particular video, that yes, these are identical to what the original Spectrum Noir markers are. And that's why I guess initially when I did this, I was questioning why some of them are like LY1, 2, and 3, and then some are like 6, 7, 8, and then some skip completely 1, 3, and 6. And it was pointed out to me that yes, this is, they picked the blends out of the entire line of the Spectrum Noir marker line to create their blends. They're 3 markers in one. So that is the Tritone markers. Then I do have the Spectrum Noir Colorista markers, and there are some coloring pads, some little coloring books that go with the Colorista markers. They're sets, and I want to do some coloring in upcoming videos with the Colorista markers in those coloring pads, because they're really neat, and I think I've only colored out of them once. So I want to get these out and do some on camera with you. I only have a few of these. There is a whole line of Spectrum Noir Aqua markers, and I do have, that's right, I do have more than this now. I just have not updated this chart. I did get a few more in here. I created the chart, with everything that is available. I did not have the names, however, for these. So I wasn't able to type those in, but I'm not sure if I'm going to continue buying. Again, I do have full set itis, but these are a little pricey, and if I find that I'm definitely not going to use them, I'm definitely not going to add to my collection with these, but we'll see. They are aqua, so they are blendable with water. So I want to do some possible playing around with these also on camera with you. I do have the entire Faber-Castell Pitt pens. These, they're kind of like water-based, but these are actually India ink. And so they are definitely different than water-based. However, when you do color with them, it does still leave lines. If you're in bigger areas and stuff, just like water-based, I should say, markers kind of leave lines when you overlap and stuff. The Pitt pens do too, but they have such a fine brush tip on them that they're perfect for if you're coloring in small areas. They work wonderful. They have such bright, vibrant colors and a wide variety of colors. So yeah, that's the Pitt pens. Now we're going to get into the brush pens. I do have the complete set of the Zig Clean Color Real Brush pens. These are watercolor pens, and I'm surprised when I made this chart, now that I'm looking at it, that I didn't include 2 columns so that I could do the true color and then one with water to see what it looked like when you did use it with water. So maybe I'll have to redo this one too. So that is the Zig. Then I have the Artesia Real Brush pens, the brush pens. And again, I did not do it with water, but look at the vivid colors in here. I mean, they are just awesome. These are just beautiful. And me and my purples, look at the line of purples and blues. I mean, and then goes on the back side because it's a large set. Look at all the greens, you know, and there's a lot of browns, enough grays to be able to do your shading. So yeah, this is a wonderful, wonderful set, and I'm hoping again that sometime in the future we'll get to maybe coloring with this on video. And again, it may be an epic fail or we may have success. I don't know. Then here, again, in that set that I bought the end of last year, it included the Korat watercolor brush pens. Again, very similar to the others. They have some pretty colors in here, and maybe we can, you know, use a number of the sets together when we color a picture. So we'll see. Then I did buy the Crayola fine line markers. I do have a number of sets of fine liners, but they are the ultra, ultra fine liners, and there's no way you can make a color chart out of them. Number one, because most of them do not have color names on. Number two, it's such a tiny tip that it would be, you know, it would take forever to make color charts out of them. These, however, are not the super tiny fine liner tips. They're a little bit bigger, but yet they're still fine. And they did have color numbers or color names on them. So I felt, okay, let's go make a color chart out of them too. And I just got these a little while ago. So again, they are water-based, so you do get, you know, some streaking, some lines in there. But they are very budget-friendly type of fine liner type of markers. Work great in smaller spaces. So then I do have and I should rearrange these because I have more Spectrum Noir here. Well, these are the sparkle pens. That's probably why I put them back further here. This is the line of the Spectrum Noir sparkle pens. I'm not sure if they've come out with any more since I bought all of these and bought these little by little. They have many, many different sets out there, and I'm sure under the plastic you won't be able to see the sparkle, but yeah, they're nice and sparkly. I want to start incorporating some of these in my coloring. I did attempt it on one of my pictures that I did not too long ago. I added some different colors to, like I added some sparkle to her hair and some to, can't remember exactly what the picture was, but it was a Jade Summer book, I remember that. And it just, didn't look that good to me. So I didn't even post that one on Facebook. But so there's the Spectrum Noir sparkle pens. And then to go along with that, and I have them in the same case, are the Zig Stella glitter pens. So again, they're nice and sparkly. You won't be able to see it through the plastic, but trust me, they're sparkly. And anybody that has the Zig Stellas, you're going to know exactly what they look like. The Spectrum Noir are pretty much the same, except for the Zig Stellas. Let me see if I get this right. Yeah, they have more of a gold kind of sparkle undertone, whereas the Spectrum Noir actually has a silver sparkle undertone. So they are a little bit different. These are more on the cool side, and then this is kind of more on the warm side of sparkle. And let me just pull this out. I believe, unless I have it backwards, but I remember seeing, yeah, this is more of a yellowish, a goldish kind of a sparkle. And then this is more of a true silver type of sparkle in the background for the Spectrum Noir. Okay, and then I do have some metallic markers. the Spectrum Noir metallic markers, and then Fila has a really nice set of metallic markers out there also. So I thought, well, rather than create separate color charts, as long as they're both metallic sets, I do have them in the same case, so I thought I'm going to put them on the same page, and I just labeled it metallic markers. What I want to do with these on camera, because I have not used these yet, I have a number of Spectrum Noir color pads again that are black background, and they are made for the metallic markers. So I want to get those out and color with you online with those too, and we'll see how that works. Okay, now we're almost to the end. Are you with me yet? Okay, into my miscellaneous category. I had nowhere else to really throw these, so I figured, yeah, we better make a miscellaneous tab. Here are my Korat glitter gel pens and the various types. These, my last color along was with the glitter gel pens, and I'm going to be finishing up part 3 yet today. I'm not sure when it's going to get posted, but I did show you in a previous video all of my Korat supplies. So I showed you the glitter gel pen set and the set that has the 4 different kinds of gel pens in it. These glitter gel pens are not the same as these. They really enhance what you get in the glitter gel pen set, the 48 set. This is also a 48 set, but 24 of them are additional glitter gel pens, which is music to my ears. The neons are really nice too. I like them. Then I do have the complete set of the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2. For any of you that don't know what the Neocolor 2s are, and I'm sure the vast majority of you do, there's a Neocolor 2 and a Neocolor 1, and don't get the two confused, because Neocolor 1, they're crayon, they look like crayons, both types, but Neocolor 1s are wax-based, just like kids' crayons, so they will repel water. Neocolor 2s, however, are water soluble, so they are complete opposite of Neocolor 1s. So if you want to get the water soluble ones, make sure you get the Neocolor 2s. And again, I don't know if I'm too far out for you guys to see any of this, if I should have been zoomed in more. I was afraid with flipping back and forth I would get too far off camera if I zoomed in anymore. But what I did with these is I colored with the crayon over here, and then I blended out with water so I would see what it would look like with a lot of water and then just a little bit of water, kind of to give me an idea of what I could blend together and whatnot. And then that went onto the back page. So this is the complete set of, what is it, 88? If I'm not mistaken, 82. Not even sure. But it's the complete set. Again, because I have complete set, I don't think there's a cure for that yet. Has anybody found a cure for complete set-itis? I think it's just a disease that they have not found a cure for, and you're just afflicted with it forever. Here are my pan pastels. This is another product that I have not worked a lot with, other than in the past I would use them for backgrounds on my pictures. And what I would do, and I'll show you how I did this, how I do this when we start working with pan pastels, because this is another thing I want to work with you guys on camera with. And yeah, this is another one that might be an epic fail because it's probably going to take time to learn these and how to actually color with them, because I actually have not colored with them yet. But I have a bunch of stencils, and I use my stencils for background. Say I have a cloud stencil, and I would take a blue and I would rub it in. And anybody that's not familiar with pan pastels, we'll go through and you can kind of see what they are, all the different types of tools you can use with these and whatnot. I have all of them except for, they come in sets of 20. So I initially bought the set of tints because I love pastels. Then you have the pure color. So red is red, orange is orange, whatnot. It's the true color. Then you get into your shades where a little bit of gray is added. Tints is where you add a little bit of white. Then you have your pure color. Then you add a little bit of gray, so they're a little bit darker than the pure colors. And then the set that I don't have is the extra darks, and that's where it's even darker than, so the red is like a deep burgundy. You know, these are all really, really dark. But if you watch Dee Dee Willingham at all, she just does fabulous with these pan pastels. I mean, she can color with these like nobody's business. And she uses the extra darks quite a bit to do her shading. So eventually I would like to get that set. I managed to get the shade set maybe last September, October, somewhere in there. So I wanted to create this color chart. I did have to spray it with workable fixative so that it wouldn't smear, but yet if and when, and you know I will, get the last set, I can complete this, and then I can spray it with the final fixative. So this was my hardest chart, I think, to make, because it was really hard to stay in the lines, even though I made them a thicker black line and not so thin as the others. You know, it's real hard to stay within the box, and I wasn't overly concerned at the time that I made this because I knew that pan pastels are very erasable. So if you do accidentally go over some lines or whatnot, you can take, you know, your electric eraser. Electric erasers work the best with these. But I wasn't too concerned because I knew they were super erasable. Well, yeah, I kind of got way out of the lines, and some of these were getting really hard to erase. Plus the fact I started attempting to erase them with a manual eraser. I forgot which one it was, the gray one. Wasn't working as well until I got out my electric eraser, and yeah, that worked much, much better. So here again are the tints, and then the pure colors. And again, I go in my regular order of light to dark: yellows, oranges, reds, pinks, purples. Here's blues, greens, and it goes this way. So here's your tints. You know, here's all your pure colors, shades, and darks. So each color is in a row from light to its darkest tone. So you see I got blues, then greens, then we get into the browns. Now I don't have these yet, and I'm not exactly sure why. I think I might have special ordered. I don't know. I have to check into that. But then here are the grays, and there's a number of different grays because people, you know, you use them so much for shading. The neutral gray has an additional tint, and it has an additional extra dark, and I believe it's these two do not come in the sets of 20. So I special ordered these. I knew this one's going to come in the extra dark set. This did not come in the tint set, so I special ordered these two and got them in a little while ago. The Payne's Gray, then you can see these. Now these sets I did have, this was, the pearlescent colors are just gorgeous. If you want to start with an initial set of pan pastels, say for doing backgrounds, start with the pearlescents. Again, you won't be able to see it because this is in plastic, and I did have to spray it. They're very shimmery. I mean, they're just beautiful, and again, because I love pastel colors and glittery things, this is a perfect set. I mean, it's just beautiful. Then I did get the metallics, and these are real shimmery too. You have your light gold and a rich gold. You have your silver and pewter, which is a, you know, darker gray. Then you have your bronze and your copper. And yeah, they're just gorgeous. So last but not least, I made a chart for my Ranger Distress Inks. I wasn't sure how I was going to go about this. I had all the names to all the colors, and I just have the little squares. I don't have the big ones, but again, this is something I want to play around with. Ever since I seen Zucchini Kitty do coloring pages with these, I've been wanting to try it. Anne has tried it. I know she kind of had a little bit of problem with it, and I'm sure my initial attempt, or a few attempts, I'm probably going to have problems too. Hi, Bella. My doggy's whining at me. She must have to want to go out, but it's so cold, Bella. Okay, Mommy's almost done, then we can go out. Yeah. And again, I go from light to dark, my normal order. And I have a little stamp. It's a little foot, a little paw print. So that could be a doggy, that could be a kitty, whatever. And I stamped each color, and down underneath it says what the name is for each. So this way I can kind of keep track of what color I want to try when I attempt coloring in my coloring books with this. And of course, you don't use a stamp in your coloring books. There are a bunch of blending tools, and there's different shapes and sizes of blending tools. So that is something else that we will play with in some future videos. So I have lots of plans for future videos, as you can see. And hopefully they won't all be epic fails. Hopefully I'll succeed at some of the things I attempt. I will be doing a January haul in a little bit. I got a few books that are coming in yet. So I did get some books in the month of January that I'm going to be showing. I did just have my 300 subscriber giveaway, so if you have not seen that, go ahead and look back. I should have put it, I believe I will put it in a playlist, a giveaway playlist, so go ahead and check out my playlists. And then, well, by the time you see this, the initial giveaway that I did will have expired, I guess you'd say, because I will be drawing tomorrow morning for that giveaway. I'm recording this on Wednesday the 30th, so I'm not sure when this video is getting put up, but I'm sure it'll be after I draw the winner's name tomorrow morning. So the only giveaway that will be active when I do post this will be my 300 subscriber giveaway. And again, you can go ahead and check my playlist for that if you would like to enter that giveaway. So that's it. Have you all stayed with me, or are you just bored to tears? If you have enjoyed this video, however, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit that bell so you know when I put up any additional videos. I hope everyone has a terrific day. Stay warm, especially if you're in the northern states like us. We had, like I said, I don't know if I said earlier, we had like 50 below wind chill. It was almost 30 below this morning, actual temp, when I got up at 6. So, but by the weekend, believe it or not, Saturday, we're supposed to be in the 30s. We could be in the low 40s on Sunday, above zero. Go figure. Mother Nature is so fickle. Anyhow, that is the end of this video. And until next time, happy coloring. Bye-bye.